And rolling. Good morning. A little later in the day today, day off. Yeah, interesting morning already. So let's get right into it. I hope there's happiness in the world. As you can see, I'm not that happy, but it's all right. I hope there's happiness in the world. I genuinely do. And if you're not, then do something about it. Like I have actually, because yeah, it's quite an interesting. What happened this morning brought up some interesting thoughts, and yeah, trying to kind of objectively maneuver my way around them. And I hope I'm able to do that in this video as good as I've been able to do in my head. So I'm pretty baked already, I'll be honest. And also, yeah, I'm back on this sativa strain as of this morning, and yeah, I don't know. I quickly faced the mental challenges, let's say, that were put in front of me, or that were there. And I was quickly able to kind of just get to an objective viewpoint and understand it and go, yeah, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. So, without further ado, we're back on the amnesia haze. So, yeah, let's see. It's not as nice tasting as as the Skittles, but it's nice. Also, I'm down to, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm down to 25% tobacco, which yeah, I've been trying to work out whether, like, if you yeah, smoke, because I think it's the tobacco that makes me smoke more, obviously, because it's the addictive part of it. So if I reduce that, then perhaps I can just take a plunge and hope that I'll reduce the amount of joints I spend. Because what happens usually is, because I'm in the habit of smoking, I'll just smoke more and it costs more. So that whole cost thing could be a load of old bollocks if done right. So with the medical marijuana, let me smoke this bad boy anyway. Let's get this lit. So the medical marijuana guys came back, and the first appointment is 150 quid, and yeah, that's the progress so far. So that's that one. So this morning I had a good morning. Firstly, I had a great night's sleep. Really a fantastic deep sleep. Really good, really happy. And it's, the sleep's getting better from the symptoms, side effects. So woke up, got on my bike, hit the road, got to my usual point where I stop and have my medication, and there was a guy there, an old friend of ours. And I got talking to him, and he was a bit down, so we had a really nice chat, and hopefully I inspired him a little bit. But it was really good because we shared a little bit, and he's got his problems and I've got mine, and it was really nice. He goes there every morning, so it's actually the second time I've met him, and the first time I was all like, ooh, weird, and I didn't want to talk to anyone, and I pushed the boundary and spoke to him, and it was quite a big thing for me at the time. So I actually thanked him for that today. I don't know, that helps me sometimes. So I was all good, and I thought to myself today, I'd planned on this day off to go through the finances for the startup cost for this therapy, because some of the costs I haven't known until now. Like yesterday I got that email, so now I know it's 150 quid for the first appointment. So I'm kind of filling in the blanks as I go along. And the startup cost is one thing, and then obviously the monthly cost for this therapy program is another. So I'm building up this these forecasts as best as possible, and it's expensive. This therapy treatment's expensive. So, I mean, I'm guessing. Not unachievable though, importantly. So my approach was going to be to map out these numbers as best as possible, forecast them for what I know so far, and then go and see the folks, because they are supporting this idea, and say and present the numbers and just say, like, this is my journey, and I'm determined to do it by myself. Obviously, I'm in this predicament. So I was gonna say, look, any help towards this startup cost would be greatly appreciated, and leave it at that, because they help me in so many ways at the moment. I'm in this position, and they are really, really, really helping. I'm so appreciative. So it's a lot to ask. I knew that. So I thought that was a fair enough approach. Then my first appointment tonight with Adam, the psychotherapist. So I mentioned it while I was just making some coffee after a good morning, and the first reaction from my mum was, "Oh, how much?" basically, which I took really badly, because I'm viewing it from a completely different perspective. So, because of the communication problem again, and I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare myself in this instance. I've been doing that, but because I thought they were completely on my side, I keep forgetting that. I wasn't prepared, and I could have approached it a lot better. And I'm paying for it myself anyway. But that was going to be my approach. If you want to contribute £5, a quid, I'm happy. Just a bit of a leg up, and and I know how fortunate I am. Honestly, I really, really, really do. And nothing is also acceptable where my mind is. So that happened, and then for like 5 minutes, I just felt completely alone again, completely alone. And luckily, she came up and apologised, and was able to kind of get some points of view across. And one of the big things was for me, from my position, this is a critical time right now. I've come off my meds in a completely the wrong way. Going into a new therapy, I'm right at the bottom, having to work my way back, working hard, and it's exhausting and tiring, and I'm placing a lot of value on it. To at least have this startup, because the relapse or whatever could happen, you just don't know, and I'm fearful of it. I'm working hard, obviously, but it's my biggest fear, because then it's worse. Then I've got no choices at the moment. I'm functioning, I'm working, and I've got a plan. And I intend to get myself out of it. So the value for me is, and also the value of the 80 quid, and what's quite, and the reason I think my expectations is a big thing in managing expectations, because my because they were, and I'm again, I can't stress that I'm so grateful for this, but they were prepared to pay £165. Sorry, there's a big truck coming my way. They're prepared to pay £165 for a session at the Priory. Because it's someone they believe in, because Dr. Bama, his name was really good for me, and has been, and I've had a few of those over the last few weeks. And then also sign up for a direct debit for prescription drugs, because obviously I'm in this position. So that was all fine. That was like 2 weeks ago. That was all fine. That was rolling ahead. So my thoughts and my expectations were that I've managed to halve that cost of that session. So I've done really well for starters, and secondly, I'm not really asking for any of it, but whatever you feel that you want to contribute to this, contribute to the cause, for that little leg up, then great. So that was my expectation, so I need to do better on that, definitely. And also the little argument came because it was just the reaction. Again, it's that negative reaction. I'm looking for, all right, okay, that's expensive, but how are you paying for it? Oh, you're paying for it yourself. Oh, that's good. Can you afford it? Well, I'm struggling, but it's important to me, and have that kind of conversation. If you're a parent, try and have that conversation. Because this is really important to me, this time, because this has happened loads, and I understand where they're coming from. This has happened loads, but my point of view, my viewpoint is that I'm doing something now that's hopefully going to stop all of them cycles and stop it, once and for all. The logic says that this, where you go with this psychedelics, is that you're dealing with these brute problems, and you've got a chance of coming out having peace with them and living a healthy life, etc. So the reactions for me are quite important at the moment, especially at this volatile time, and I thought they understood that. I feel I feel volatile. I'm working hard, but I feel volatile still, and it just takes a momentary comment for me to. I just recognised that today, a little negative comment, and I just felt completely alone again. So, is what it is. Oops. Is what it is. And also, So her argument was that why does it need to be now? It's just to add that to put the argument all in. Is that why do it now? Why not wait a month when you got some money in? Because obviously I'm working now, because it takes a while to get paid right. And so great comment, great question. So my answer is because I'm worried and I'm fearful that I could put myself into another position where I was before, and no one really understands where people like us go. Because and I've had some, and I'm talking about suicide, because that's one of my big things. Self-sabotage eventually leading to an obsession with suicide, and then some so far half-hearted attempts. But recently, like a real serious one that I feared for my life. I really thought I was gone. I ended up in hospital for 12 hours. With no help at all, and came to a bit of an epiphany, really, that really there is no help, and I've got to sort myself out. A longer story than that, but that's it in a nutshell. And decided that I want to join the fight. I want to join the battle for this mental health. Came up with a bit of an idea for this project I'm working on. and decided to change this therapy and change things up, and that's where we are now. So when you've had that experience of that, like, that fear, that's what I'm living with. So for me, the 80 quid and the 150 quid for this initial therapy, just to feel like I've got some support, is vital right now. And the irony is, because the communication hasn't really improved with either of them. Which is really strange for me, but that's what it is. And so the irony is that if they were able to improve their communication and allow me to kind of, because I'm learning quite a lot by myself at the moment, and with a couple of sessions, perhaps just with them opening up, I would be able to wait a month. But and I'll give you an example of the communication breakdown, is that I showed my mum that the Weed the People documentary, where it's showing how medical marijuana is helping with the children's cancer. And she sat there and watched it. I watched it with her, and then my dad told me just the other day that she knew all about it because a friend of hers, or a customer of their pub, has had some like really terrible times with cancer, and he switched to medical marijuana, and he seems to be getting on right now. But she didn't want to tell me that she knew that. I mean, the mind boggles. Really. And so that really sums that one up. Do I need to say any more? So that goes back to the point of, I need that therapy. And the other thing is, like, I mean, I've got some friends who've unfortunately really tragically committed suicide quite recently. And I'm not saying I'm doing all right, so I'm doing all right, I'm focused, I'm not going to let this one get me down, and I've proved to myself today that I can get myself out of these predicaments just with a bit of thought. And but flash back to anybody in the world, and if you're able to put 80 quid, just to say, look, you could put 80 quid there, and perhaps, I know there's been a lot of money spent in the past, but this is a new therapy, this is a new chapter. Perhaps, let's I don't know, somehow get it into your mind and put 80 quid in there, and perhaps or 5 quid in the pot. Like I said, I'm not asking for I'm not asking for anything. I'm really not asking for anything. Yeah, I'm not even asking for anything, but you know what I mean? If someone had nothing, if someone really, really could not pay, and I'm getting to the point where I really, really can't pay, but I'm going to figure it out. And that's one of my skills. My only successes have been getting myself out of these situations. So I'm gonna flip and do that again, but in a new approach, as I've said in the previous videos. Yeah, and what wouldn't you put? What wouldn't you give? And what wouldn't you do to if that person had nothing, to just put that opportunity? You do you think of the sadness and the wasted life, the families. So the question, the question is, like, when people say, like, I've never reached out for help for my mental health. Never. Because of the fear of maybe rejection, or not wanting to, pride, you know what I mean? I'll get myself through this, and then I get to the point where you suffer so much that you've got no choice. but to but to it's you just got no choice. And luckily for me, I've got my parents are loving parents. They've got they will do anything for me. But perhaps for them, it's got to a point where they don't, either they've got to a point where they don't want to, maybe they're doing it for my good, and again, I want to do that, so that's fair, that's brilliant. But yeah, the support I'm looking for. Sorry, I went off for a bit of a tangent there, but the support I'm looking for really is would be the communication. Like, if I could have that communication, then I would agree. I would wait a month. Totally. But I feel I really need it. I really feel I need it. So there's the value, Yeah, there's the value, it's my life I'm talking about. So the game is, the question is, what would you do, if you could turn back time, maybe. I don't know what I'm saying now, sorry. Okay, so anyway, the point is that I'm going to get myself out of this, and that hasn't changed. So no one's going to get me down. I've got a day off to come up with some genius ideas. So, and also, looking forward to the appointment tonight with Adam. Buzzing about that, and it's taking a bit of the shine off it, but I can get back excited for it. Figure out how I'm going to pay for all this. Yeah, good challenges ahead. So yep, all right. Enjoying the sativa. I noticed that I smoke faster. So it's the indica kind of. I talk a lot, think a lot, and then look, I'm like. So that's a funny one, but okay. Mila, I love you, baby. I'm coming for you. Peace out.